Hi Capricorn, welcome to the month of July. I'm Ruby and this is Ruby Reads Tarot. Capricorn, the major one for the month of July for you is this eclipse that's in your sign that will be ending an 8-year cycle for you and starting a new one. Eclipses generally tend to mean new beginnings, a fresh new start. The month of July might mean, with this Mercury retrograde, with Pluto, Saturn and Jupiter all retrograding in your sign, will mean you're bringing up, or things about your past are being brought up for you to heal once and for all. 10 of Wands. There is a completion of a cycle, but it won't be without each one of these things that are brought up, brought to your awareness, asking for you to heal them once and for all. The thing with the 10 of Wands is it is the end of a cycle. The destination is close by. You can prepare to drop the wands. You can prepare to let go of all of the things that might have been holding you back. High Priestess. Cancerian energy. If you find that this month brings a lot of unconscious emotional patterns of thinking to the surface, if you find that this month means that you're a lot more emotionally connected to, memories, reliving the past, revelations, dreams, even reliving things from the past, see this as a period of clarification. Really see where you can heal, really see where you can forgive, and really see where you can let go of what you don't need to take forward with you. 5 of Swords. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of what comes up this month for you to heal has a lot to do with how certain relationships may have forced you or forced a certain type of version of you. This could be dealing with matters of aggression, conflict, where you've had to really come from a place where you might have had to fight or win your way through a certain situation. If you find yourself reliving past trauma, the question really needs to be is, can you through all of this trust and have enough faith to know that whatever you drop and whatever you have had to battle through might be brought to focus this month, so that you can really clear up some miscommunications with yourself. Mercury is going in retrograde, but where you can clear up certain relationships, where you can let go of certain burdens, where you can let family relationships, work issues, where you can really let them come to the surface so you can finally clear them up once and for all and put them away. This eclipse might bring a lot of negativity to your awareness, and it is really just so that you are self-aware and quite mindful of what it is, Ace of Swords, that will need to now be cut away from your life. Ace of Swords can be the law. It is, however, the voice of truth. It is cutting things out. It is an opportunity to cut away from things that might have brought a lot more negativity to your life, things that might have had you believing in certain thought patterns, things that might have compromised your integrity, things that might have had you in a space where, it may have been quite volatile. It is now the time, however, to really expand your awareness and grow your consciousness. You will not be the same after this eclipse, and I feel as if there might be some severing of ties that you might need to do, some clearing the air in terms of communication, and finally speaking what your truth is and resolving it. It doesn't mean that you necessarily need to speak to the other person perhaps, but as long as you've got the clarity in your own mind and you are crystal clear on the direction that you wish to take now, which I do think is a direction of more spiritual awareness. This growth, this clarification period will only really happen once you can deconstruct some of the things from your past that need healing. Things where you might have been a little bit more rigid than you should have. Things where you've had to fight it out when you really perhaps didn't want to. Battles that were won, battles that were lost. Things, however, that do need to be cut off. And it is a sympathetic eclipse. It is one that is in the later decans, which means that it is a lesson that you've already evolved from, and now it's merely clearing not just the mental clutter but the emotional clutter of how a certain situation that may have been from the past is only now coming to an end, is only now being given the opportunity for clarification, for healing, and more so than anything, forgiveness. That was a message, right? Okay. Let's see what the cards have for you, Capricorn. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We were talking about the moon. This eclipse on the 5th of July is a big one. As I looked down on the timer, it said 7:07. So there is some sort of synchronicity, Capricorn, with this full moon. Finally, I think revelations about the way that you felt about something that was left unhealed, something that needs to be healed. You finally get some revelations about it. Some sort of psychic knowledge comes through to you, and you begin to see the situation from a whole different point of view. The thing with this, Capricorn, is when we're given those kind of downloads, it's often an opportunity for us to really see where it is that we actually need to be quite honest with ourselves, and what we can take from being even hidden in our subconscious and bring it to light and see how it might have been affecting us in our everyday life, right? See how it might have been affecting us in our day-to-day. The thing with these things that are hidden is that sometimes they do need an outlet to come to the surface. And what better time than an eclipse? What better time than, you know, under the light of a full moon? Things are coming to the surface for you, and this is an opportunity for you to really stop avoiding, and even if you're not deliberately avoiding, but kind of give something the final clear up before you decide to push it out of your life. 10 of Swords and the 8 of Swords. Let's go for the other cards. 7 of Wands, 3 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. I'm just going to lay these out and let's get the message through here. 10 of Swords, 8 of Swords. Capricorn, you've reached the conclusion point. You've reached the end. And I think there's two kind of Capricorns during this period. I think there's one that's very much living this 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles. But there's also the other one that's very much doing the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords. 8 of Swords makes me think that this is energy that you might not be able to avoid. It is quite tough. It is definitely one that is making itself be felt. If it feels quite heavy, if it feels quite burdensome, know that this time is really heightening your sensitivity. And it's only so, Capricorn, that these ghosts, these closets, these things that are in your peripheral vision or in your subconscious or even things that you might be going through now, cycles that you might be closing out now, are closed up in such a way that you can make enough space to move forward with the next 8-year cycle of your life. There won't be another eclipse in the sign of Capricorn for 8 years. And I think that's something to think about. Whatever this was a lifetime of hurt and heartache. And you've kind of got to give yourself enough power, I want to say, to be the voice of reason and actually make an awareness, a conscious awareness effort of how to get out, wriggle out of those ropes, of that 8 of Swords. To wriggle out of the ropes and to set yourself free really is your own responsibility, and there is no one else that can help you. Not even help, I'm sure there's plenty of people, like that's what we're all here for, but there is no one that will heal you from this other than what you're willing to do for yourself. If you are genuinely willing to surrender the swords and use this as an opportunity to lay some firm foundations by acknowledging your weaknesses, by acknowledging the things that are holding you back and where they stem from, where they came from, and how your energy is now. Are you in a very tightly wound, tightly bound to the past kind of energy where you might even be trying to achieve this 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups kind of situation, but you're just struggling to do so? Is it because the burden of it has become so much that you need an outlet? 3 of Cups, speak. Really use this time to speak on it as much as you can. 7 of Wands. It is a time of growth for you, Capricorn. It is a time for you to lay those wands in the ground and understand that all of the struggle that you may have gone through was only to help you recreate your life. Capricorn, by the end of July, you go from the 9 of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups to the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups. It's all entirely dependent on how willing you are to flip a situation around and how willing you are to understand that this is a time of transition. This is a time of making the necessary changes to problems that are coming to the surface that just needed to be buried. And they needed to be buried in a very kind of aware of how you might be caught up in your shadow kind of way, because these eclipses have been a bit of a wake-up call for all of us, and it has been an opportunity for you to redefine yourself, Capricorn. So when you struggle and you feel like you're caught up in the burdens of it and you feel like it's really quite painful, know that you're at a point, you're at a changing point. Your spirituality must be like expanded at the moment, and any negativity that you are absorbing is going to feel all that more sensitive because you are almost being reborn, rebirthed. Mercury retrogrades are about renewal. They're about redoing things even. They're about going over situations in the past. You are coming across a soul family that you can very well rely on. This is a new group of people. This is a new structure, a new family, a new setup of friendships, a new relationship even. And it's going to really bring you back to the center. This is quite an earthy, grounded place to be. The parrot does definitely depict, this is the 9 of Pentacles. The parrot definitely does depict for me Mercury retrograde in this instance. You're being asked to communicate productively with a need to heal, with a need for an outcome, for a need for resolution. And if you find yourself not being able to speak to the source of where your conflict came from, see this as an opportunity for you to make amends with yourself, for you to heal within yourself, to create solid ground, firm foundation for yourself. 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups. That is the potential for a lot of love, a lot of financial stability, a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication, a lot of perseverance, Capricorn. This kind of stuff is generational. It is things that last a lifetime. It is entirely dependent on your energy, however. And if you've had your nerves burnt out because you had to spend so long in this 5 of Swords scenario, the High Priestess suggests to me that there's a lot that you need to do to work on yourself. And even if that means speaking to people, 3 of Cups, I think you will find that the people that you need to speak to, you will know. It'll be enough for you to just reach out, you know, and the support you need will be there. And you're healing, so give yourself the opportunity to understand that with healing, a lot of conflict, a lot of our subconscious is brought to the conscious, and it's an opportunity for us to expand our consciousness and become a little bit more aware of our devils, our patterns. Let's see what the Psychic Oracle has to say for you. Firm foundations, deception and envy, conflict and defeat, and spiritual strength. High Priestess and the spiritual strength. Capricorn, I would use this entire retrograde phase while all of these planets are in retrograde in your sign. I think you'll get a bit of a breath of fresh air when Saturn goes into Aquarius on the 17th of July, and it will just mean like you are given an opportunity to reorganize for your future. With that, Aquarius is very much so when Saturn's in your sign, everything is quite restrictive and quite like my way or the highway and quite limiting. When it goes into Aquarius, it's a whole different ball game. It's like, how do we expand the playing field? How are we ready to blow our own minds? Spiritual strength. This for me, Capricorn, means that there's a lot of internal going inside that you might need to do at this time. There's a lot of real need for soul searching and pacifying yourself through your spirituality, through your spiritual practices. A real need to get closer to God, get closer to nature, get closer to things that mean that you're working on your energy, that you're addressing things that are negative, and you are proactive about overcoming them. And if these are things that you don't want to do by yourself, find yourself a good tarot reader, find yourself a group of friends, find yourself a confidant, a mentor. Just be in a position to expand your mind. Okay? Deception and envy, conflict and defeat. I think we see a lot of that right here, don't we? 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and the 5 of Swords. It seems as if a situation, a matter of conflict is going to come to a head. And I think it might feel as if you are defeated in a certain situation. And I don't want you to think as if you have lost. What I want you to see this is as an opportunity for you to put low vibrational energies that you might have been coming from within yourself to one side and actually overcome them through learning about them, learning through them, or learning a lot about yourself about them, or even energy that might be outside of yourself about this feeling of deception and envy. And how maybe if you have not been feeling worthy yourself, how envy has been taking a part within you and maybe taking more from you, like your self-worth. Conflict and defeat. I think it's safe to say that there will be opportunities to learn certain lessons, and they might come at the expense of our ego or our emotions or our feelings. They are, however, here to teach us a lesson about our root, our rooting, our grounding, how rooted we are within ourselves, how stable we are within our thinking, how grounded we can be when it comes to overcoming matters of conflict, how we can overcome. I'm so sorry, there is construction work going on outside of, and it's so hot. I should have closed the window. Sorry guys. Anyway, where were we? Root chakra, firm foundation, 7 of Wands. I wouldn't take anything personally right now. I would understand that we're all going through a massive time of change, and that everyone's got their battles that they're kind of fighting at the moment, and how grounded and how sure you are of being able to get, and spiritual strength is your faith, Capricorn. Are you able to have faith? What's happened to your faith? Can you work on your faith maybe? Because faith is a massive part of spiritual strength. Rejection. Okay. Something about being rejected that might come up during this eclipse might mean that you really have to close a chapter with something that has been pulling you away from your quest. You really stand the chance of building a solid future for yourself, Capricorn. Do you feel worthy of it? And if you don't, when did you stop feeling worthy of being able to make your dreams come true? Also, I would strongly suggest that you kind of log out of social medias and the media in general for this month of July, just because there's so much healing for you to do. You don't really want to get prompted by all of the things that are quite triggering that are happening in the moment in the world at the moment. As long as you can lay your firm foundations and make sure that you're making the best efforts in order to create a good situation around yourself, and not just for yourself but everyone involved too. My real advice is stay away from things that are draining you, plugs that you might have, people that might be plugged into you, triggers basically. There's gonna be a lot happening, and when when Jupiter and Pluto, both in your sign, both in retrograde, conjunct, balance, and that's the 30th of this month, is when you might find the real need to balance yourself off. This could be balancing your hormones, balancing relationships, balancing how much time you spend on relationships versus how much time you're willing to spend on actually resolving your key issues in this time. How it might really serve you, how it might best serve you at this point, Capricorn, to surrender a lot of what you can't control and let go of things. Like, genuinely let go of things that you know are holding you back. Things that you might need to make peace with, things that you have no control over, things that are outside of your hands. How it really might serve you to focus intently on this quest energy. To focus on this energy of knowing that what you're about to get into post this eclipse on the 5th of July will mean life isn't gonna ever be the same again. And you've got to allow yourself the privilege of being able to think differently than you have been thinking for the past 8 years or so. To allow yourself some freedom and surrender. To allow yourself to create the stability and the structure that you wish to see around you. And that not even unfortunately, that will have to start with yourself, Capricorn. That will have to start with how you feel about your future, before you even think about how other people fit into your future. It needs to be an inside job done by you, with the help that you need. By all means, get the help you need. Don't hold it in. I don't think this is the time of holding it all in. But the real crux of the work will need to be you. It will need to be what you do for yourself, and a bit of the High Priestess and spiritual strength and balance card just shows me that even if you are dealing with like real heavy stuff at the moment, there is nothing you can't heal. with having faith, with having a bit of positivity that today might be tough, but tomorrow is going to be a lot better if you will let it. That's all the 10s here. This is endings, 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 endings. This month might be a lot about endings, but it's only so that the new can begin. And when you want a new as badly as I think you really do, there's got to be truth with yourself. Who is it that needs to be cut out of your life finally? Who is it that you need to make amends with the spirit of what happened? Who is it that you need to shed light on and call, troublemakers if that's what's going on? And where is it that deception and envy might be really taking away from your personal power, from your chi, from your life force energy? Where rejection might have played a little bit too close to the heartstrings, and where building this firm foundation is entirely dependent on the levels of faith that you have for a better tomorrow, the levels of faith that you have of your capabilities, the level of faith that you have which allows you to work on your energy, which allows you to work with the elements and trust that life always works out. And what you had to surrender and what you had to let go of, because now you have to find a new way. Amidst all of this, Capricorn, now you have to find a way out of that rope that binds you to all of this really heavy stuff. No one is around to save you from these ropes. Luckily enough, the ropes aren't tight enough to hold you bound. If you wish to, you can escape this. But Knight of Cups. There needs to be an optimism. There needs to be a willingness from you. And there needs to be a real emotional connection to this month. July is a big month for you. South Node is in Sagittarius at the moment. This talks a lot about philosophies and patterns of life, like lives we've learned, things we've learned through our life. The time is to upgrade the lesson. The time is really to move on with strength. By Leo season, I think you'll be cutting off a lot of things. Queen of Swords, World card. Things will come to an end. The Fool card. You're ready to start anew. King of Cups, emotional ties that you may have had to Five of Cups. You're ready to start anew. The Lovers card. Oh my god, here we go. The Lovers card for me is really like reconciling yourself with yourself first and foremost before you even get to this love bond. This is a potential for new love, however. And even if you weren't thinking about that right now, or even a renewal within love, whatever you might be getting into next has the potential of longevity. But I think a lot of it has to do with how willing you are to release and surrender a lot of stuff, and how willing you are to really get that root chakra activated and build those spiritual muscles and really start building for tomorrow through the muck, through the hardness, through the obstacles. It's that final stretch, Capricorn. Get through this eclipse and I think you'll find you're set free from a lot of things that were the reason that this didn't quite manifest, but is on the other side of it. Keep your heart in the faith though. Open up your heart chakra a little bit. And I think you're going to have a really nice July. To book a reading, visit rubyreadstarot.com. If you enjoyed the video, do leave it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining, and I shall catch you again soon.